this is Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth, coming at you here in North Dakota as we're here to cover the Standing Rock protest. But we're currently held up in Bismarck right now. There's actually an emergency storm warning going on. In fact, some of the roads are completely shut down, so we can't even make it back to the camp if we wanted to. However, it's possible that that is a blessing in disguise because it is brutal out there right now, folks. And somebody who's joined with me here today, Payu, knows all that all too well. He's been staying out there immersed in this for the last 4 months since April 1st. So, Payu, I mean, as somebody who's been there, immersed in the camp, you have a solid knowledge of this, a good experience of what's going on. So many things we can talk about. But something I wanted to bring up today with you is something we experienced firsthand, and we've seen viral videos going on about this. And what I'm talking about is the general disdain and how people seem to be feeling towards protesters here in Bismarck. What would you say is the general vibe here in Bismarck towards the protesters?
Well, the general vibe is the fact that it's bad. There's a lot of good people here in Bismarck, but for the most part, people are getting their news from like the Bismarck Tribune, from the governor's office, other areas that are totally slanting the issue. And that's really a shame because you really don't get a chance to see what we're doing out there as water protectors. People are using the term protesters, and that's not what we're doing. This isn't really that. We're protecting the water supply for over 17 million Americans. And that's what people really need to be able to take away from this. We're not the bad guys here. You know, and if people would take the time to really look at the facts and look at what we're doing out there, it's a blizzard, and there's still 5,000 people out there. We're not out there in this blizzard because we like it or because we're having fun. We're out there for a purpose, for a reason. So that's the big thing. There is a lot of racism already here in Bismarck. There's racism throughout the whole state of North Dakota. And that's what you're seeing. You know, it's this compartmentalized racism that now has free reign because of the misappropriated ideology of the incoming president-elect, who every fascist cell out there has now taken that as the gathering call, you know, to try to push a fascist, racist ideology, and that's really not the case. There's some, like I said, there's some good people here in Bismarck that support what we're doing, and I want that to be really known, but it's just they're being overshadowed by the hate, because hate makes headlines. And that's
Speaking of headlines, this is some of the things we're seeing on the news. Do you think this is why we're getting this kind of a vibe around this place, is because of the images of the burning cars and the images that are making these people think, oh my God, these people are violent. We got to shut this down.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the camp has been out there like well over 4 months. And it's only just now, as the images of like the water cannons and the blockades and everything, that's what brought everyone out. And it's really telling about, you know, mainstream media. Mainstream media wanted nothing to do with this until the veterans came. And they all showed up expecting this huge showdown between the police and military versus these veterans. And in a way, the blizzard's kind of good because it's really put that on ice. I mean, no pun intended. But I think the potential for it to get really ugly if the blizzard hadn't happened really was there. So in a way, it's a good thing. But there again, sensationalism breeds headlines. Yes. And that's the thing. I've seen both sides. As people have seen in other interviews, I've been mazed. 20 minutes later, I'm finger painting with little ones. That's what I want people to take away from this. Is there's two sides to this issue. There's two sides to this story. You know, and not to always focus on the negative and the quasi-violence, which really is only on the part of Morton County. We've remained peaceful. We've remained nonviolent. So
I agree. Let's focus on the positive, and let's not give any weight to these provocateurs who are setting up these things. So let's move on to some of the more positive aspects of what you've been doing out here. And something that I find very interesting, and I think a lot of the PFT audience is going to be interested in and excited about, is the fact that you've come up with this brilliant concept of using something that you started called I believe it's called Mazacoin. It's a cryptocurrency to be used amongst the natives here so that they can get around, operating around the state. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Mazacoin was founded approximately in 2013. It was meant to be a clone for Bitcoin, and it was meant to be a way for tribal communities to rebuild our economic infrastructure on our own terms. It's usable by anyone, so it's not race specific, but it was primarily designed to give us an alternative to the banking system. And as we're seeing with things like, the defund Apple movement and the disaster that Wells Fargo has caused, it really opens up an interesting door for the real possibility of an overall financial shift in the whole concept of financial services in this country. And actually even, let's expand that around the world. I mean, think about it. It's a bank you now can trust because you have control over it. It can't be stopped. Donations for the camp, donations for anything related to this cannot be frozen. They can't be held up. PayPal can hold up accounts. GoFundMe has already frozen and suspended accounts trying to get water protectors freed. We don't have many of those restrictions. If you want to send money to someone for whatever reason, you have the right to do it. And that's been the whole thing. Freedom for people to do what they want to do without government interference.
It seems like a great way to be able to step outside of the state's influence and control and just be non-compliant with them, just to step out of that. So this seems like a great move for people to be able to not have to deal with the state. Because essentially, would you say it boils down to, in a nutshell, the state versus the people? I mean, that's why I think this cryptocurrency for the natives is a good idea.
Well, I think what we need to do is go back to the three most impactful letters or words put together: we the people. And that's what it really boils down to. It shouldn't be the people versus the state. The state should be recognizing we the people. We the people are the ones that have the power here. It's not we the corporation, and I'm sorry, President-elect, it's not we the corporation, it's we the people. It's not we the police, it's we the people. And if people learn to go back and reread the Constitution and re-invoke that simple ideology, that's what it's all about. And Mazacoin, I'm happy that we're front and center. We are the only cryptocurrency that has anyone, much less a founder, on the front lines. I mean, I love all the other currencies out there, but like Dogecoin, nowhere to be found. We have no Bitcoin members out there. We have people that know about it, but so far we're the only ones, apparently with the courage to really stand up for a social justice cause and make a stand regardless of what people might think. And I think that's really important for a cryptocurrency, when you're trying to change the social dynamic and stand for justice, you really have to be able to take a stand and be visible about it.
Yeah. Well, good on you for doing that. What's next for you? Are you going to be sticking out for the long haul? Because they've announced this minor victory in the sense that they're going to be halting the construction and maybe looking at alternative routes. But we know this ain't going to end this $3.8 billion project. So what do you think is in store for you in the coming weeks or even months from now?
Well, we're definitely going to be staying on the ground. I don't know about the stopping work because I've heard equipment still being operated over there. What we are working on is developing the Indigenous Policy Research Center in D.C. We have a GoFundMe page set up for that. And what it's designed to do is be a place that activists and leadership can go work on researching what policy needs to be changed, what we can use, how we can utilize it, laws, lobbying leadership and lawmakers on a daily basis. What happens currently is we get tribal leaders that come out for like a week, and then after that they're gone and it's business as usual. Well, it's hard to do when you have, lobbyists that are there every single day, talking about, oh, how are we on this legislation? Nothing? Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And for, that's become the big push, because this is actually really the next round in this fight is going to be in D.C., and we have to maintain a presence there, a long-term presence.
Well, you're going to need some help with that. I stayed with you one night in the camp, and guys, their tent caught on fire, and the whole tarp ended up going down. So it's hard out there, man. So I want people to know that Payu needs some help. A lot of people out here need some help. Where can they go if they want to help you? They want to learn more from you. They want to donate. Where can people help?
Okay. The biggest thing that we're doing right now is a GoFundMe page. It's GoFundMe DC Camp 2017. I'm sure you can put the link here, wherever. The biggest warning that I'll give people is research some of the GoFundMe pages that are out there, because there are some fake ones floating around. You can find me on Facebook under Payu Vane, V-A-N-E. If anyone has any questions about our GoFundMe page, you can hit me up on Facebook. I'm more than happy to answer questions. But really do your research. There's some great causes out there. We hope that we're one of them. There are supplies that are still needed. You can also go to a GoFundMe page, which is gofundme.com/winterprotectors, and those are going for like camp needs. The biggest thing that we're asking people for primarily, and this may sound weird, is like Amazon gift cards, which will allow us to go and get the items we need specifically, because we have people out getting clothes. The camps all have so much warm clothes now that we're actually giving them to the Salvation Army and other people in the community, which is great. But for what we really, really need, Amazon gift cards is really the best, or else just donating directly to the GoFundMe. Those are the best two that I have, but there's still a lot out there and a lot of ways to help. Another thing is, if you've got the stones for it, come out and stand with us. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. We're going to have all those links in the description. Guys, be sure to check out these links. Give Payu a donation. He's been doing great work out here, as we said, for the last 4 months now. And also check out our GoFundMe page. We are not one of the fake ones. We are indeed doing it, the real deal. We putting our butts on the line coming down here to do this. So check that out. The link's in the description. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.